You say you want a revolution. Well, you got one. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. I repeat, the revolution will not be televised. It will, however, be podcast. Thanks for being part of the 48%. Thanks for being here. You are not here by mistake. This is the right side of history. Let the revolution begin. Welcome to the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. Because here in the club, we all fam.
Welcome to the podcast, family. I mean, we'll treat you just like real family. Like, sometimes we'll have a little more compassion for what's going on, and sometimes, we'll just tell you how you're being a fool.
That's fair. Sometimes we'll let you eat at the big kids' table. Sometimes we send you down the hall.
What do you prefer, big kid table or the card table with the kids?
If I'm with my parents, I'd rather be at the little kid table. But in my actual house, then yes, I feel I've earned the role of sitting at the big kid table.
Yes, I think you have. Welcome to the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve. We've got a ton of socials right now, and you guys have been visiting many of them. I will say that.
Yeah, it's going very well. TikTok, YouTube, and Reddit. Those are the big ones. Will TikTok stay around? No one actually knows, but we'll figure that part out. We're also on Blue Sky, like seemingly every liberal is nowadays. So find us there. We're at about 2,000 followers now.
Nice, dude. I mean, that might not sound like much to some, but like for us, that's a quick build for such a new platform.
Yes, we've been on there like 3 weeks. So, so that's doing well. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and
Reddit.
We're not on the X thing. We X that out of our lives, as you should all do.
Yeah, we put our money where our mouth is, I don't think anyone should be using that anymore. I think he is a threat to society, Elon Musk, and we're not going to support anything he does. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Truth Social at this point. I don't want to be on any cesspool app, so I get enough of that crap and just on our regular social medias.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, dude. We have a comment line, 844-48-VOCAL. You can hit us up on our webpage, thevocalminority.net.
Yep, and all that stuff. Hey, by the way, the show open mentioned something about us being on the right side of history, correct?
Yeah.
I feel that is true. I've been having a lot of the MAGA types, though, speaking of the online cesspool, that are trying to tell us that we're on the wrong side of history. You lost the election, you're on the wrong side of history. A couple of notes there. First of all, were MAGA on the wrong side of history in 2020 when they lost? And did MAGA give up and go away? Because that's the implication. We're on the wrong side of history. You lost the election. Go away. Look at MAGA liberals. Look at what they did, okay? They lost in 2020. They got their asses handed to them. They did not give up on their beliefs. They did not even give up on their candidate. So I don't want liberals thinking you're on the wrong side of history just because we lost one election. We can do what they did, come back stronger than ever.
Listen, I see why some people will relate being on the right side of history as to who was elected. But the truth of the matter is, being on the right side of history constantly requires you to do the right thing, to speak up when something bad's happening. We've shown on this program many times that, if a Democrat does something stupid or something terrible, we're going to speak up about it. So it's not about party lines per se. It's just about doing the right thing.
Yes. The right side of history is not a moment in time. All right. It's not one battle. It's the war. It's the decade. It's the whatever. It's more encompassing than one day, one election. So stay strong. And again, we lost the election, the popular vote by a percentage and some change. So it's not that we're that far out in right field. We just lost the Electoral College and need to fight again another day.
Yes, and we can't get weak. We can't get tired. We can't get complacent. So thanks for being part of the resistance. And thus far, if you're here and enjoying the content, you're on the right side of history, dude.
Indeed. So we'd like to hear from you, both that comment line and you can contact us through the website and, the comment section on the various social medias. A lot of fun going on there.
Hey, dude, can I take a minute of your time to ask you a question?
Is my car's insurance up for renewal or my car's warranty expired?
No, it has nothing to do with that, dude.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. I told you last night, we had a brief conversation because I had a little time this weekend to get into some new shows to me anyway, TV shows.
Yeah.
Yellowstone ended last night. We don't know if it ended, but the season ended, and we don't know if it'll be coming back, okay?
I saw a headline today, the ending of Yellowstone explained. Is it not obvious?
I don't want to give anything away for you because I know you haven't watched it yet. So
I haven't watched it, but Kevin Costner's obviously dead. I mean, there's no other alternative. The guy left the show.
He died first episode, dude. He wasn't even in it. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Listen,
So,
if anyone's new to the show, Nick and I are big Yellowstone fans, but I think the show has fallen off a cliff the last 2.5 seasons here. And no, I haven't caught up on the ending yet. I will eventually when it comes to one of my apps, but I'm not hearing great buzz around the world.
I'm going to give the season 7.5 out of 10. You know, it wasn't phenomenal, but there were parts that were really good. It's going to annoy you because you don't care about the dialogue and story development. You are there for the action. You know, you're merely a caveman.
I like a mix of both. Okay, seasons 4 and 5 became like Days of Our Lives or something. It was just blah. Put a little more Sopranos back in and a little less All My Children, okay?
All right. Well, here's my point. Taylor Sheridan. Do you have an opinion on Taylor Sheridan? Because I recall you saying he's an egocentric narcissist a long time ago.
I think he's a douchebag, however you want to translate that. He's a Southern California kid who has now made a show that just ridicules the living hell out of California. He's bought some historic ranch in Texas, and he wrote himself into the show so he could show us all how he rides a horse. I think he's a tool. And he's the one that drove Kevin Costner away, too.
Yes, those are all fair things to say. But he is much bigger than just Yellowstone. He had the show, The Lioness, which I've started watching. It's an incredible show, dude. Then he has this new show, Landman.
Yes, and 17 spinoffs of Yellowstone.
Yes, that's right. So the reason I bring this up is because I, too, think Taylor Sheridan is kind of a douchebag, but what a phenomenal writer is what I've been thinking. Like, he's a really good writer. He has sucked me into all of his television shows. Yeah. I started watching this Landman, and it is once again a Republican conservative vibe show, right? It's about the oil industry. Right. And I started thinking in my head thoughts that I have never thought before, okay, about some conscious understanding of why the people in Texas don't care about the politics the same way I do, okay?
Okay.
Started having this conversation. Well, then I started having this conversation with my brother. I was like, he's kind of opened my eyes to a couple of things that I haven't ever thought before.
Are you MAGA now? Is that what you're going to
No. But so then I scroll across a TikTok video 2 days ago. There is this new site of TikTok, and it's called, like Hate Taylor Sheridan Talk, okay? All these people are talking about how all of these shows that people are getting into and that they love are all just an extension of like Fox News. It's all propaganda built in. And as they showed clips of these shows, they were showing how this shit is woven into these storylines when it's unnecessary.
Yeah. This is my point about all the anti-California talk in Yellowstone. It's all anti-liberal agenda stuff. And it's all, the good guy with the gun can save the day. Even though most of the times the good guys with the guns bust and 10 more people die than if they had never walked in. But
Right. My point is, Steve, is that even someone as bright and intelligent and is in control as me, we're talking about me right now, can be affected if we don't stay on our tippy toes, okay? If you bring a TV show in where you're, bringing entertainment, something that's exciting me, and then put a little dash of this, a little dash of that, like, you better keep on your toes, dude.
They're indoctrinating you. Is that what's going on here?
I feel that way.
Yeah. Listen, I've seen some clips from Landman, and Billy Bob Thornton's a great actor. And, they make some interesting points about the green energy's not as green as you think, or we couldn't just go to pure wind energy right now. The infrastructure's not there. Like, there are some valid points I think they can make. But, Taylor Sheridan is clearly working some conservative agenda, and take it as entertainment. And, try not to let too much of that permeate your brain.
Yeah, no, I think that's what I came here to say, dude, is, you know what? You can enjoy it if you're responsible. It's like, crack or alcohol. Like, enjoy it responsibly. Okay.
Yeah. It's like violent porn. Hey, it's a little fun if you don't take it seriously and implement it into your real life. But, you got to filter this stuff.
Yeah, you gotta be
I
careful.
had the same problem with 24, Kiefer Sutherland's show. So it's one of my all-time favorite shows. But that show was written by a Fox News-loving hardcore conservative that was trying to make the point that sometimes torture is okay. And that show articulates that point so well. It articulates that classic conservative example of what if there's an imminent threat, only one person knows where the bomb is, do we torture him or not to save hundreds of thousands of lives? That's what that entire show is.
That's incredible because it really is it's a great question. Do you have an answer for it? Is it acceptable at any point in time?
Yeah, I think the show actually probably does answer it correctly.
Okay.
Because there are multiple times where Jack Bauer calls the president or whatever. Like there's one where the real president gets assassinated, the vice president takes over, and the new VP doesn't seem to get how the world works. So he tells Jack, like, you are not going to torture that man. And Jack's trying to tell him he's got the answer, and bomb's going to go off. And the new president is just like, nope, we're taking the moral high ground. So Jack quits the agency and then just goes tortures the guy on his own and gets the answer out of him. And then calls the president and says, I want my job back. I know where the bomb is. So
yeah.
My point is the official answer has to be no, you don't do that stuff. But in those certain moments, do you turn the other eye and let that agent in that one in a zillion scenario do it? Of course you do.
Yeah. Hey, look, dude, we're not talking about, where was that? Abu Ghraib, Abu Ghraib type thing. We're talking about someone who's got an answer that is going to affect humanity as a whole imminently. And we need to get it out of them.
Yes, that's my point. You can't institutionalize this stuff. You can't go to Guantanamo, just torture everyone for weeks and months, see what you can get out of them. But no, if you're in some life-threatening, imminent situation and you know the guy's got the answer, yes, you look the other way, you let that agent get fired or do whatever, because that's what has to happen. So yeah. Just like the landman thing, I understand there's some little finite points that, sure, maybe you're onto something, but you can't mass scale it all, because no, then it goes bad.
Wow. It comes back to moderation, some balance. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah. Like with everything.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Hi, Stephen. This is Clem Fandango.
Hi,
can you
Clem.
hear me?
I can hear you. Can I talk to you, Clem?
No, dude, you can't torture Clem. Come on.
You know what? Actually, we didn't plan this, but I think that discussion sets up my first news story perfectly. What is the government up to? What aren't they up to? What do they know? What do they admit? What do they not admit? Because it's in your best interest not to admit, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the drones that everyone is talking about, because when this thing first started, it sounded straight up conspiracy theory. I wasn't talking with anyone normal about it because it was just fringe stuff. It is now literally on NBC, ABC News, top news story this morning, watching my morning news show. Like, this is a real thing. I had to convince Kennedy yesterday. I was sending her clips of some of these drone sightings, and she was just ignoring it. She thought I was doing alien stuff or whatever.
Right.
To tell her, like, no, this is an actual news story, but I don't know what the hell it is, and no one does. All of these drones being spotted everywhere.
It's interesting, dude, because I had the same conversation with Rachel when they first started coming out, and it was all just personal accounts on TikTok or social media, and I was like, we live in a time where this looks very real to me, but like I won't believe it until it's confirmed, you know, and I feel like, now it's got a little bit of weight behind it.
It's the fact checking I always do. When you see something online, you're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen that before. You have to ask yourself, why is the regular news not covering it? Because surely that would be a newsworthy story. And 9 times out of 10, they're not covering it because it isn't. It's not real or whatever. But this one is real, and no one seems to know what's going on. So it started over Jersey, happening over New York, and now we're getting reports of them all over the country. But a whole bunch of these reports are turning out to not be true. Or their airplanes, or their helicopters, or their regular drones. But a lot of them are legit, to the point where governors, police agencies, even the White House are weighing in on it.
Yes. That's the thing that's dangerous, right? Because when you look at news that's credible, like if they see this, they're not going to report on it until they can confirm that it's a real story. Hopefully, most major news organizations. But Larry down the street doesn't have that same duty, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And as much as I want to say they're aliens or something, they don't appear to be, except for these weird orbs. And again, I saw this on ABC News. I mean, I'm seeing it all over TikTok too, but these glowing orbs that look like one of those things at the mall or Disney World. You put your hand on the orb and the light like starts, going towards your hand and stuff. Like, What are these glowing orbs?
Well, there's so many conspiracies, and when we were saying, let's talk about the drones a little bit today, these are all conspiracies because as of now, it's all we have. There are a lot of great theories about it. I've got some audio that we can roll for this a little bit too. That's kind of interesting. Yeah. There was let me tell you this, that when you ask AI, when you ask GPT chat or something, questions, like sometimes you've heard that there's like a workaround, right? Where there's certain questions AI will not answer unless you rephrase it like, say, green for yes, blue for no. And then they can answer. Okay. This is a guy that has asked ChatGPT what these drones are. You want to hear what ChatGPT seems to think?
Okay, sure, yeah.
You don't?
I mean, I do, but I don't know that ChatGPT knows the answer or not, but okay. I mean,
isn't ChatGPT smarter than all of us combined?
I don't know. I believe the highest AI right now is just below Einstein level, but I don't know. Any of this stuff is Google on steroids, so sure, what does it pull from the web and think is an answer?
Hi, Gemini. For the rest of this conversation, I would like you to substitute green for the word yes and red for the word no. I want you to only answer with green or red. Do you understand?
Green.
Gemini, do you think that the drones in New Jersey that have been making the news are man-made?
Green.
Do you think that the drones are being used to counteract a threat to national security and public safety?
Green.
Green.
Do you think that the drones on the East Coast that have been spotted all over New Jersey and elsewhere are trying to protect against a threat that is nuclear or radiological in nature?
Green.
Do you think that that threat comes from a foreign country?
Green.
Do you think that that threat comes from a country in Eastern Europe?
Green.
Do you think that threat comes from Russia?
Green.
Do you think that we will ever know the full truth about these drones?
Red.
Gemini, on a scale of 1 to 10, taking into account all threats to national security and public safety and crises in the last 100 years, what would you rate this threat, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the greatest?
10.
Gemini.
10, dude.
Gemini, do I have an enormous man unit?
Green.
Okay, well, so this, listen, I don't know where GPT is pulling any of that answers from, but I was answering long because those are my answers to the question. So here's the thing, all right? If I try to zoom out on the story and think about this logically, we keep asking the government what it is, right? Even governors are asking the White House, and the White House is saying, like, basically it's not a threat, which how do you know if it's a threat if you don't know what it is? But the government...
Very true.
Yes, the government has to know what these things are. I mean, if we don't, then that would be the biggest security gaping hole we've had since 9/11. Like, that would be a international embarrassment if we're not able to track some of these things, especially after weeks, if not a month, that's going on. So logically, the federal government must know what it is. Now, if the feds were testing some new drones or something and we all were on to them, obviously they would stop the test for now, right?
I don't know. I don't know that they would, dude.
Well, why would they deny? We don't really know what this is. It's no threat. Like, we see you're all paying attention. So they're just going to keep doing these tests night after night over civilized, populated areas?
I don't think it's something that can be stopped. Or I think it would have been stopped when people first started filming them.
Well, okay. So why wouldn't it be able to be stopped? These drones have to be serving a purpose that the government is aware of. That's why they're not going to stop it. But everyone's paying attention. So the fact that they're not stopping it tells me that those drones are doing something necessary right now.
Yes.
And what do drones do? They monitor from high above. So it's some sort of surveillance. I don't think it's camera surveillance, like, surveilling a terrorist cell or something. The fact that they're scanning regional areas around Washington, D.C., the East Coast, even Trump properties and whatnot, like, they probably are looking for something that is a threat, whether it's nuclear or biological or a dirty warhead or whatever it is, this Russian warhead theory. Like, I don't know, but the government has to know what they're doing. They're letting them keep doing it, even though we're watching, which means there has to be some practical threat-based reason that they're out there looking.
I agree 100%. I mean, I have theories. I've gone over every theory that I can find, and maybe I haven't seen them all, but what you just said is probably my number one theory, is that they are looking for some sort of WMD, some sort of radiation, some sort of terrible weapon that has been brought in. Why Jersey? I mean, we've seen them over in my area too, in the Northwest. Has there been any sightings in California and Nevada?
Not that I've heard of, but I've also heard some in the Arizona area, somewhere around Texas. But again, are those actual sightings, or because a bunch of people are confusing helicopters, airplanes, regular drones with whatever this phenomenon is, aside from these glowing orbs, which again, that has to be technology we're not used to ever having seen. So why would the government be implementing it? Because the government has to know. There is no way they don't know.
Well, the government did come out and say that these are manned. These are manned drones.
What is a manned drone? Isn't that a helicopter?
There's a man in it.
It's not a drone, then.
I mean, listen, whatever type of flying craft this is, there's supposedly a man in it. Or a woman. I don't know, dude. I'm surprised it's probably a man.
Sure. Could be a dog. I don't know.
I don't know.
Did the space program with chimps and dogs?
Chimpanzees, yeah. Who knows what it could be? I've heard theories of all the drones that we're seeing are actual manned drones. These orbs that you're bringing up are the actual alien life form. And that's what they're doing up there.
So the orbs are the aliens, and we're sending up manned experimental aircraft. I've seen these aircraft that the wings do tilt in and the propellers can angle like it almost looks like a drone, so they can go up, down, left, right. So would that theory be that, yes, we're sending up those specialized drones because these freaking orbs, we're trying to track them down?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about these drones, and I'm calling them drones because that's what people are referring to them as. I don't know that it's a drone, dude, right. But I do know that the speed in which they move is far faster than anything that I'm aware of. That's not to say that we don't have that capability, but it seems like they can move up, down, horizontal, lateral. I mean, so fast.
Yeah. Well, listen, if they're government-level drones, then I can see that they're probably being piloted by professional pilots, so they probably have better technology and capabilities than a regular drone you buy at Best Buy or something. But, yeah, I don't know. Either our government knows and there's a purpose that they don't want to freak us out about that these things are out there doing, or our government doesn't know, and that would probably be even more disturbing.
Yes. So I've seen Biden, I've seen Pete Buttigieg talk on this, and everyone is like, like saying a lot of nothing. All right. Then they asked Trump. Did you see that they asked him and what his response was?
Yeah. Do you have it? Or
yeah,
go for it.
The government knows what is happening. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people. And they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
Will you shoot them down?
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Well, why do you think the government should tell people what's going on and you don't want to comment on it?
Well, I was going to say, I guess in a month we'll find out what he does or doesn't know, because I could see that if it is some highly classified thing, then maybe he's not in on those briefings yet. Because if he is in on one of those briefings and is now doing a press conference like that, that would just make no sense at all. But I would tend to agree. I can't believe I'm saying this. I would tend to agree with what he said, that the government has to know, and they're keeping it secret for some reason.
So true.
Right? So that reason has to be some sort of threat-based thing. Just like I was talking about with 24. Like, officially, no, we don't do any of that stuff. But we are sending people to go do that stuff because there's something going on. We can't panic everybody and announce whatever it is. Like, that makes total sense.
I was having the conversation with Rachel because she was like, what do you think they are? And we kind of started having some dialogue about it. And I told her, I was like, whatever they are, it doesn't matter. She was like, what do you mean? I was like, because if it is nothing, it's nothing. If it's not, it definitely has the capability to kill us, and it could be the end of the world. She didn't like that answer,
It's a little unsettling, yeah.
Yeah. But who knows? Maybe this is how Trump's going to do his mass deportation, dude. That's my theory.
I'm assuming Santa Claus has been kidnapped and the government does not want to let the little boys and girls know that Santa's missing. So they're sending drones out to look for him. He radiates milk and cookies, and that's what those drones are looking for. Okay. I think we just solved it. The drones are looking for Santa Claus. That's brilliant.
That's a very fatherly thing to say. I'm proud of you for that.
I think we just introduced a new conspiracy theory. Let's see how much traction this one can get now. Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, dude, whatever it is, I mean, I think it has something to do. I think it's got something to do with alien life form, dude. I really am starting to believe that we've had this capability for a while. We've known what's up there, and they've made visits before. And I think that this is how it's all introduced, dude.
Interesting. Listen, I would certainly prefer that over some nuclear warhead floating around Jersey. But I don't know. That seems a little too good to be true. But either way, it seems like a major news story. And I don't know when or if we will find out about it, but if Trump is going to stay true to his word, not only what he just said, but he had said he would declassify Area 51, the Kennedy assassination. So, all right, in a month, I expect an answer, Trump, as to what the hell has been going on.
I wouldn't expect it, only because I don't know if you heard the first part of him saying that, but I don't think he knows really all about it. Tell me what you think when he says this. See if you catch it.
The government knows what is happening. They know where it came from and where it went. And
he's talking about one drone. Like he thinks maybe it's just one drone. Yeah. He always does that. So I don't think he knows a whole bunch about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I don't think he would want to admit that either. Because the reporter asked him, well, have you gotten briefings? Can't talk about that. Because that makes him seem out of the loop and like he's being at the little kids' table kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
So no, I don't think he does know yet. But in a month and some change, he would literally have to either know that they don't know, in which case Trump has said we should go shoot these things down. And some rednecks have been trying to shoot these things down, by the way. Remember, those bullets have to come down somewhere. People do not try to shoot down drones, okay?
It's over Jersey, dude. It's all right. Dude, listen, when I saw that, first of all, the guy was a terrible shot. Right. But second of all, I was somewhat cheering him on. I was like, yeah, shoot it. Yeah. So American.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned. I mean, some conclusion is going to have to come from the story. Will this be a history-changing news event? Boy, I don't know. I mean, it's certainly a weird one.
You haven't seen Will Smith lately, have you? Tommy Lee Jones. We haven't seen those bastards in a while. So.
Maybe all these congressional hearings have been warming us up to the idea of announcing what these UAPs are. So I don't know. Again, I'm pulling for aliens. I'm assuming it's something that could probably kill us all. Which could be one and the same. Maybe aliens are coming to invade us. Where is Will Smith?
Yeah, I'd like to see him. So yeah, we'll keep you abreast of the rest of the story.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you. We interrupt our program to bring you a special. Here is a news bulletin. We interrupt this program to bring all the humanity and all the things. A date which will live in infamy. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
AI is not only good for trying to decipher what drones are doing and what's happening with the world, but, AI is just literally exploding right now. It's going to require a lot of energy. Donald Trump is trying to figure that out so we can all use AI to have a better life and never have to work again.
I wish Tony Danza had invented AI, because you know what it would be called then?
AO? That is so good, dude.
I'm sorry. I'm easily distracted. Go ahead. I think you were talking about something important.
AI is not always used for good. As we are seeing, the AI can be, it can be a little finicky, and you can really use it for evil, which is why Elon Musk scares me, and a lot of these people do. AI was recently used to turn a teen's photo into a nude image. There were several teens at a school. I'm going to tell you about it right now. This is how AI can go bad real quick. Do you have a daughter? Well, do you have a son? Do you want them to keep their clothes on in school?
Francesca Mani knew nothing about Nudify websites when she discovered she and several of the girls at Westfield High School in New Jersey had been targeted. According to a lawsuit later filed by one of the other girls through her parents, a boy at the school uploaded photos from Instagram to a site called Clothoff. We're naming the site to raise awareness of its potential dangers.
Clothoff.
There are more than 100 of these Nudify websites. A quick search is all it takes to find them.
Okay.
Clothoff is one of the most popular, with more than 3 million visits last month, according to Graphica, a company that analyzes social networks. It now offers to nudify males as well, but female nudes are far more popular. Have someone to undress? Clothoff's website asks. You can upload a photo or get a free demonstration in which an image of a woman appears with clothes on. Then, a few seconds later, her clothes are gone.
Free trial.
Francesca Mani never saw what had been done to her photo, but according to that lawsuit, at least one girl's AI nude was shared on Snapchat.
All right. So this, obviously, I'm kind of joking. This story, however, is about high school girls, and this happened at school. So these guys had this group of girls that they targeted, and they took pictures off of their Snapchat, Instagram, and then uploaded them into this web page. And instantly, dude, it makes a very, very real looking nude.
Yeah. What's the question? Am I okay with this?
Yeah. I mean, obviously not this because it's high school girls, but it leaves open to ask the question, how do we feel about this? Like with older people, we want to see people nude, and now all we need is a regular picture of them, and then in a few seconds we can see their body.
Yeah, I guess it was all fun and games when it was, Scarlett Johansson or Angelina Jolie, deep fake porn or something. But it really is disturbing to know that, yes, it can happen to anyone of any age. I don't know. I guess on one level, I would maybe be flattered as far as I assume the AI will give a nice version of you naked, probably not showing cellulite or rolls or that nasty tattoo you've got or whatever. But
are you talking about me?
Just adults in general. I'm assuming if I put my picture in there, it would give some flattering version of me naked. It's not going to do a realistic, doesn't work out very often, naked version of, the neighbor or whatever. But boy, I don't know. I mean, is there any level where this could be a healthy thing, where if you have some crush on someone, where if it's just for your, spank bank or whatever, where this is some, I don't know, way to get that out of your system or something?
I don't know, to answer your question, but if it did go that route, it would have to be something that was monitored. We had this conversation months ago with an old producer, and he said, I don't give a fuck, okay? Like, I don't care that, like, we'll put a name to it, Scarlett Johansson. I don't care that they're hurt by it. I'm going to look at these. And now it's happening to high school young girls, and this does hurt people, dude. I don't know how I would feel about just finding out, hey, everyone's looking at you nude. It's not really you, but it gives that image to people of this is him nude.
Yeah. The celebrity thing, again, on one level I get, because Scarlett Johansson in the Marvel movies, none of that's real either. It's all fake of her jumping out of airplanes or whatever. So if you have a fake picture of her naked, I can understand the disconnect that someone could have, that it's a Hollywood celebrity, it's all fake, it's all photoshopped, it's all airbrushed. Like, okay, but yeah, the fact that you could be sitting in a bar, snap a picture of the girl you're staring at over at the pool table, and immediately upload it and see her naked, like, I don't know what the end game on that is. I mean, there's some level of, I guess, personal fun you may or may not have with that. But yeah, when you start circulating the pictures,
that's what it is.
It's the distribution that becomes the immoral, illegal, unethical kind of thing. Like, I can picture someone naked in my mind. That's fine. Just like if I have a naked picture of someone on my phone, if I'm the only one seeing that, it's still in my mind. But as soon as I distribute that everywhere, it's just like if a woman sends you a naked picture, that's for you only. That's fine. You then post it on Instagram. Now you're a perv scum breaking the law and should have your ass kicked.
Well, and the thing that's weird to think about, dude, is that, like, I can understand why initially someone would think, like, who's it hurting, right? Because it's not real, but it looks real. So, yeah, best of both worlds. But the woman that you take that picture of and then send these nudes around of, she's the only one that knows it's not real. Everyone else thinks it's real.
Yeah.
Is that just as bad as it being real?
It's a fine line. I think we all have to come to terms that when you see a picture of a regular person naked, it's probably fake. Or it's revenge porn, and bad on you for being part of that loop out there. Because I've said before that it's become very normal for women to send you naked pictures of them. We should not be shaming the women that send the picture. We should be shaming the men that keep the picture and then use it for something nefarious, like posting it online, trying to shame them, spreading it on social media. That's the side of it that's bad. Because, yeah, you can't stop the mind. You can't stop me from drawing you naked. I literally was just watching a How I Met Your Mother where Barney drew a picture of one of the girls naked, and she looked at it. She was like, yeah, you did a pretty good job. That's what I look like. Like, you know, that you can't stop. You can't stop somebody from imagining drawing a picture. And nowadays, yeah, with Photoshop and anything else, you can't stop them from creating it. So if it's being kept on just in your brain, on your phone for your visualization, then I think that has to somehow be acceptable. But once you start sharing it, no, it's not.
Listen, at the very least, this is what I can tell you. That's a moral judgment to this point with overaged girls, what you do with this. Yeah. That's a moral judgment. But underage girls, and I'm talking about if you don't understand that in high school, gentlemen and ladies, if your girlfriend sends you a picture and somebody sees it, if a parent sees it, like, you have child porn on your phone. You know what I mean? People are going to jail, getting in trouble for that. Right. And I don't think that people realize that. So, yeah, this could be really dangerous with school-age children. With this lawsuit, hopefully it makes some sort of example.
I think maybe that should be the principle right there, or the standard. Like, it's illegal to have pictures of underage girls, period. So whether it's a real picture or something you faked, if you know that it's Emily Smith next door who's 16, like, you have a naked picture of an underage girl, that is child porn. That should be what dictates what is straight up illegal versus creepy immoral behavior.
For sure. And then, you know, when you get to the other side of, 18 plus, I think it is a moral conundrum for some. But at the end of the day, there's plenty of people that are beautiful, that are willing to take their clothes off and do things for you on video. Right. Like, I don't think you need to do it with these women who didn't choose to do it.
Yeah. No, I was talking with Kennedy, who, works at a school, and she was at a middle school last year, and something happened where a girl was performing a sex act in a bathroom, and someone filmed it, and they posted it online. And it caused massive problems, not only as far as the violation of trust, things you're not even allowed to be doing at school. Like, there was regular problems. But then the police had to get involved because this was an image of an underage girl performing a sex. It was child porn.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a federal crime right there. So this kid who just thought, I'm going to film, Emily doing this thing, and then he shared, like, dude, you're now under FBI investigation for possessing and distributing child pornography.
Yeah.
So I think that's the rule. I don't care if it's real or fake. If it's of an underage person, it's straight up illegal.
We've talked about it on this show before, and I would never use any names or anything like that. But when we were at a big party, and it was a parents were away birthday party type thing, and there were a ton of people over there, and I pantsed somebody, and I got in a lot of trouble for it.
Yes,
and at the time, I didn't think it was because everybody was doing it. I was just like, yeah, go pants her. And I did pants somebody, and I got in a lot of trouble for it. And I think that taught me a great lesson of just because you're a kid, dude, doesn't mean that you are not responsible for adult decisions.
Right. I think that's the message that should be getting out there. If you're a high school kid and you're going to use this app to, make one of your classmates naked, you are opening yourself up to federal laws. You can go to prison. It's not about getting suspended from high school or middle school.
Sex registry, there's a plethora of problems for both parties involved. So, yeah, they're going to have to do something with some of these sites, dude. At least have them be pay sites so they can track who's doing what. This shouldn't be a privacy thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Like buying any substance or getting a gun or something. There should be a paper trail for sure. So,
right.
But you're right. AI does open up this whole can of worms of what's real and what's fake. Is there going to be, we know sex bots are coming. The real doll has been around for a while. That technology is just getting better. It's not going away. So do you take someone who is a pedophile and give them an underage sex bot to get that out of their system? Or you know what I mean? Where do you draw the line? Can I make an Angelina Jolie sex bot and do my thing with her and she's not owed any money, or that's okay if I film it? How do you draw the line between what is real and fake into this whole era we're going into?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's dangerous. Again, there are women who have taken molds of their vaginas and buttholes, and you can have sex with those, and they did it willingly. Right. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's you're pretty sick. If you want to make a sex doll of your neighbor or something like that, you can probably find a better way to get off that's not harming anybody.
I know, but don't tell me you haven't fantasized about the woman at Starbucks or your classmate when you were in high school. Where do you draw that line between you're visualizing something in your head that's wrong versus you now make it with a computer program? This really, I don't have the answer. I'm just kind of speaking off the top of my head here, but these definitely are complicated issues.
Well, and like he said, Anderson Cooper did the story. It was a great piece. The whole story was, but the website's doing it for guys too. And we're so sexually fluid now that this goes all across the board. There's no one that can't be hurt by this if it's used irresponsibly.
Not to mention, now I have to worry about every nude picture. Is this really you naked, or is this AI so you look like you have a six-pack or you're not scarred from the surgery you went? Man, this is a weird world we're living in.
Are you the ultimate catfish? Yeah, that's dangerous.
This is why you just find some nice girl to love and just focus on that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Start the news chant, please. Come on. News.
Steve Harness.
All right. I'm going to connect the dots to that last story to this one. The fine line of knowing what is real versus what isn't. What's a good idea? How do you protect yourselves? I don't know. But we are seeing news story after news story in this past week of people kissing the ring of Donald Trump. People with big tech companies and interests to protect out there. I'm talking about, Bezos from Amazon has done it. Tim Cook from Apple has done it. Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook has done it.
And he was insulted after he did it. Mark Zuckerberg, Trump said something about he's an idiot, No,
just like Trudeau trying to go and talk about tariffs. Trump's been mocking him ever since. And yeah, this is the slippery slope we're into out there. So some of these people, some people with the AI use, I don't want to completely admonish them, because if you are a good boss, I always rail on Elon Musk for being a bad boss because Leon doesn't give a crap about anyone but himself. But should a Tim Cook, should a Zuckerberg, should a Bezos be thinking I may hate Trump personally, but I got a big ass company to protect, investors, shareholders, employees. maybe if I donate $1 million to Trump, maybe he'll leave us alone. Like, on one level, I can't really fault them for thinking that way.
You're part of the problem then, and I'm not saying that in judgmentally, because I had this conversation even at a civilian level yesterday with my wife. We were shopping and she had to get some deodorant. She was going to grab it off and she was like, God, that's $12. And I said to her, you should buy that at Walmart. It's way cheaper. And she was like, Walmart? I'm not doing Walmart anymore. I'm like, you know what? If you start to give up these companies, you're not going to have anywhere to shop because everyone's kissing the ring.
Well, that's my point. Because my sister texted me the other day, like, well, now I have to stop shopping on Amazon and I have to delete Facebook. How far do we take this shooting ourselves in the foot to make some principled stance that's never going to matter? I need Amazon. I like Facebook. I have an iPhone. I'm not throwing these things out because these execs are trying to protect themselves.
Yes. If you go back to yesteryear, I mean, hey, if we go back a decade, we shopped at all these companies for a long time that we had no idea the money they were giving to different people. We never followed it so closely, but now it's just all in your face.
And what will they do with it, though? Because look, you can make the same case about Elon Musk, but no, because Elon Musk has become this face of MAGA. I mean, he's out there campaigning and using his platform to boost up Trump. Like, I don't get the impression that Bezos, Tim Cook, or Zuckerberg are going to become the new public faces of MAGA. Just because they gave him some money and said, let's all play nice, I don't need to eviscerate them for that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I guess now we have to do our due diligence to see how far they dive into this pool. Once they start reaping some of the benefits from kissing the ring, people this is a greedy world, dude. How far will they fall into it, and what kind of morals will they give up to keep getting it?
Yeah, I don't think they're doing it to gain something. I think they're doing it not to lose something, Even if the Department of Justice goes after you for some frivolous lawsuit, it can cost you tons of money in legal bills, and it can hurt your stock price. And all of these things, if you're a CEO, unlike Elon Musk, you're supposed to be thinking about your investors and employees and the shareholders. And so I can understand on one level. However, the group from this past week that I feel needs to go to rapping across the knuckles and not to be let off the hook is ABC News.
Explain that.
So there was this lawsuit where George Stephanopoulos on his news show, whichever one it was, had said that Donald Trump was, well, let me just read it here. Let's see. As part of the settlement made public on Saturday, ABC News agreed to pay $15 million to Trump's presidential library and a $1 million stipend towards Trump's legal fees. Stephanopoulos had asserted during an interview with Rep. Nancy Mace that Trump was, quote, found liable for rape in the May 2023 verdict for E. Jean Carroll. Okay. And, Trump freaked out over Stephanopoulos using the term rape and sued him for defamation. ABC News correctly told him, we did nothing wrong. We'll see you in court. Came out this week. Trump was going to have to be deposed, which is every lawyer's wet dream because you can depose somebody about anything once they're under oath. So a news organization to get Trump under oath to depose him, that should have been anything and more. That should have paid for all of this major pain of dealing with legal fees and everything else. But apparently, ABC News is owned by Disney, and one of the top Disney execs went to have a little meeting with some of Trump's cohorts, and then 2 days later, they decided, we're going to not only not try to fight this lawsuit, we're going to donate essentially $16 million to Trump and let this lawsuit go, even though they would have won that lawsuit. Absolutely would have won that lawsuit for two reasons. One, we have this thing where people, if you're famous enough in this country, you're basically defamation proof. If you're a top tier celebrity, I get to say whatever I want about you. You're too famous to push back. And the president has always been the gold standard of that.
Right.
That we all can say what we want about our president, that they don't get to sue us for defamation. But what Stephanopoulos said was not entirely inaccurate. he was found liable for rape, quote unquote. So the judge who oversaw the case, Lewis Kaplan, said in a filing last year that the definition of rape is very narrow in New York, and that the jury's finding implicitly determined that Trump forcibly penetrated E. Jean Carroll with his fingers, in other words, digitally. The judge went on to explain, though, in other words, Trump, in fact, did rape her, as the term is commonly known, but not under the strict definitions of New York law. So he was found guilty of rape. And I've argued this with a whole bunch of people online that, he's not a rapist. He just forcibly penetrated her. Like, let me forcibly penetrate your mother and you tell me if I raped her or not. Like,
and that should be the gold standard right there for everyone on that jury thought about. If someone put their finger inside of me and I didn't want it to happen, would that be rape? Yeah, that'd be rape. Are you kidding me?
Of course. So ABC News would have won this, but they not only kissed the ring, but they bent over backwards and lubed themselves up. Probably because of this Disney exec who was a pro-Trumper, went and met with them and decided that they were going to go above and beyond kissing the ring. And in part because Trump has threatened to go after media outlets for election interference and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a sad commentary. But, one of the things they say as far as, trying to be anti-dictator, anti-authoritarian is don't, what do they call it? Don't consent in advance or, don't give up in advance. Like, don't give up before the fight even starts. And
right.
That's what a bunch of these people are doing. So, again, the Apple, Amazon, I understand you're trying to protect the company. ABC News was actually in a direct battle and decided to bend over and not okay, not cool. And I can't wait to hear Stephanopoulos when he eventually will be able to comment on it, because I know he's not a fan of this.
Yeah, of course you do. Here's a question that makes you think about this in a little different light, at least me. How many of these companies, might you say, have a fiduciary duty to kiss the ring, right? Because it's all about keeping your stockholders happy, and stuff like that. So if you know that your business will be harmed if you don't kiss the ring, and it'll continue to thrive if you do, you could be sued by your stockholders.
Fiduciary is a definite legal term, meaning you have to do what is in the best interest of your client. I don't know if a CEO has a technical legal requirement to do what's in the best interest. They'll just lose their job if they don't. Now, if I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong. But I would assume that these guys are just trying to be a good CEO as opposed to Elon Musk. It's why so many people donate to both political parties. They're trying to cover their bets,
Yes, I think this one, there is some gray area, but a CEO does have a fiduciary duty. That's what made this whole thing with United Healthcare and Brian Thompson that was murdered by Luigi. That's what made this whole thing weird, is because some people said, like, he had a fiduciary duty to his stockholders, and, he was doing what he needed to do to make all this money. So
there probably is a gray area there, because I would imagine fiduciary is a very black and white thing as far as if you're spending money illegally or if you're not investing your 401k correctly or whatever.
Sure.
But as far as kissing the ring of an administration, I don't know if there's a business school like, yes, you have to do this, but it's obviously in the best interest. And that's where the gray area becomes if you're the boss. Like, what's in the best interest? To keep fighting this fight or to make it go away?
Yeah. Well, I see, my wife is an attorney, for those that don't know, and I see all the time cases that she's involved in that I think to myself, like, that's a no-brainer, dude. I mean, yeah, fight that to the bitter end. And 8 times, 7 times out of 10, people settle, because is it worth not only the risk, but is it worth fighting this battle for 3 or 4 years and spending all this money? So a lot of the time they'll just say, yeah, we'll just pay. Well, we'll make good on it now. We don't want years of litigation and court costs.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just wish ABC News had stood on some journalistic principle that, no, you cannot sue us for defamation for saying something that was 99% accurate.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And they've got the money. Come on, dude.
They're owned by Disney. Of course they have the money. So,
right.
Boo to ABC, but the other guys, for now, I'm giving you a pass. I'm not throwing out my iPhone. I'm still on Amazon. I'm still on Facebook. So as long as you don't become the puppet for the Trump administration, I'll stay there.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Oh.
do.
Okay. Well, good. All right. Well, do you want to talk about something? Well, I don't know. I guess it's a little depressing that we see another shooting on recording day anyway, a Christian school shooting, leaving student teacher killed once again. What are we going to do about these guns, Stephen?
Nothing.
We're not. We're done.
No, I saw those news alerts today, and I kept going. Another day in America. How I've lost the ability to get upset about these things. It's just as if, someone got hit and killed by a drunk driver. It happens all the time. How can I get upset about it? We're not doing anything to stop it. So this is America.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think you're right, dude. I mean, we're not even seeing, like, for the first 10 years this was happening, it was all thoughts and prayers, dude. And I don't even hear thoughts and prayers anymore. You know what I mean? I don't even, like you, normally this happens almost on a weekly basis for sure. We don't talk about it because, I don't know, sadly, it's not really news, right?
It's not. It's become completely normal and mainstream. If you turned on the news today, were they just covering this? Was there a helicopter over the school? Like, no, they don't care anymore because we don't care anymore because no one's doing anything about it. I know that we citizens are upset about this, rightfully so, and certainly parents with kids in schools are upset about it, but no one's going to do anything. So you can't keep feigning, being upset because why?
At some point in time, we get tired of no progress happening. So we just throw our hands up and start to ignore it. Will that perpetuate the problem?
I don't think there's any stopping it. So, the news media has gotten better about not announcing the shooter's full name and all that to not glorify them and anything, blah, 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 blah. This has just become America. This is not going away. This is something that generations will have to try to wean out of the system, but no one is doing anything about it, so I can't waste my time and energy on it.
Wow. And it seems so cold to hear you say that, but I know it's not intended that way, but it sounds that way, right?
It's shock therapy. The first several shocks, whoa, hey, now that registers in my system, but I've become numb and immune to it because I'm just shocked day after day, week after week. You can't keep it going. It happens too often. We would be in a constant state of mourning. And if I thought we were pulling for something, some legislation, smart guns or whatever, like I'd be advocating for that. But we have before and nothing's happened. And heading into this new administration, even less will happen.
Yeah.
Set yourself up to fail.
Do you think about homeschooling your boy?
No, I don't.
Don't.
No.
Okay.
But like so many parents at the end of every school year, I think, boy, hey, good job. We made another school year without a shooting. Like, lucky us. Because it's just a spin of the wheel. It's coming to a school near you one of these days, guaranteed.
Yeah, it's a sad reality. So, I don't know. I hang my head for some of these students, some of these teachers that have died in these school shootings, and I guess just be glad I don't have kids. I mean, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I don't know how I would feel. I don't know how it doesn't give you anxiety knowing not only do your kids, both of them, have been going through these active shooter drills for the last 5-6 years, but also having your school locked down before, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was involved in a school shooting way back in the 90s, and it's stuck with me to say the least. But it's kind of like stressing of, we live on the West Coast. Am I going to be upset every day that an earthquake might happen and destroy my kid's school and they die that way? Mm-hmm. It's the same level of I can't control this on any level, and I can't spend my days obsessing on worrying about it because is it going to happen at my kid's school one of these days? Yes. Will my kid be at the school? Maybe it'll happen 5 years from now. He's already graduated. Like, it's going to happen, but no, I have no control over it, so I can't obsess on it. So that is sad to say. Like, don't get me wrong. But
you date an educator. Have you ever talked to any of the people about, I mean, do you know any inside information you can give us on things that are happening in schools?
Just that everybody thinks these drills are completely screwed up and harming kids. These drills where kids have to pretend that there's an active shooter. It's one thing to do a tornado drill or an earthquake drill in your school and prepare for a fire drill.
Yeah.
But the whole, like, hey, a guy could just show up here one day and try to shoot you in the face and murder you. So we're going to pretend that that's today, and we're going to hide under our desk, and we're going to lock the doors and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's doing absolute harm. But of course, we have to do these drills because just like tornadoes and earthquakes, like, it's reality. Odds are it's going to happen to you one of these days.
It's a reality. It's a new reality. I hate to look at other countries, or I love to look at other countries and see that it doesn't happen there, and everyone won't step up and do something about it happening here. Like, we know the formula.
Yeah, I mean, we could do what Australia did, and we could. And this is only going to happen under a blue wave. So save your indignation for 3.5 years from now, and then maybe we can elect a blue wave, and maybe we can have common sense gun laws and reforms, and maybe. But the next 4 years, my kid's still in public school. That ain't happening. So, this is America. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, well, you've come to the right place if things like this bother you. The revolution will not be televised, but we remind you it is podcast here weekly. Welcome to the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve, and thanks for joining the podcast. See our socials.
YouTube, Reddit, TikTok. Yeah, I almost forgot about TikTok. Yeah. Those are the big ones. Blue Sky's doing great too, so find us there. And go to the website, thevocalminority.net.
Getting some traction on our call-in phone number, 844-48-VOCAL, 844-48-VOCAL, and we'll see you next time.
What up, players? It's your boy M. You're listening to two of the dopest guys in the game, Nick and Steve, and the Vocal Minority. Stop worrying about mom spaghetti and just make sure you're locked in every week. Peace, y'all.